Welcome everyone to another lecture in the Excel series. Today we'll be familiarizing ourselves with the Excel work environment. To open Excel, we could go to the search tab that is close to the start button on your Windows and type Excel. When you type Excel, it's going to bring the icon of Excel. Just simply click on it and a window will be open to you. The window that opens to you should look similar to this. Now, what we see is several lines of information surrounded by somewhat empty Excel worksheet. So let's familiarize ourselves with the various parts of the worksheet that is opened. The upper part of the worksheet that is open is called the ribbon. So somewhere from here is called the ribbon. In the upper line of the ribbon, we have what is called the title bar. This is a title bar. It shows the name of the worksheet that you have opened or that you are working on. And towards the right of the name or the title bar, you have some icons that you can use to adjust the size of the window, active window, or to use to close the window. Next to the line is what we call the ribbon tab. The ribbon tab is just below the title bar. So this is the ribbon tab. So we have some ribbon, we have some tabs, something like the home tab where we are now, which is active. Then we can make other tabs active like the insert tab. We have the page layout tab, formula tab, data tab, review tab, view tab, and so on and so forth. Each of the tabs comprises of icons that are related to the tab. The icons appear just below the line. The ribbon icons appear just below the line of each of the tabs. Details about the tabs and each of the ribbon tabs and each of the icons that we have will be treated subsequently. Below the ribbon is what we call the Excel sheet. This is the major thing here, and it occupies most part of the window. It has some controls around it that we familiarize ourselves with as we move on. And as you can see, the worksheet consists of a grid of cells. Each of the cells has a letter and a number attached to it. For example, if I click on the very first cell in this worksheet, that cell has a letter called A and a number called 1. So that A is showing that it is in column A and row 1. So that means the active cell that I've just clicked is in column A, row 1. So it is cell A1. So each of the cell that makes up the grid has a column letter and a row number. The cell is going to contain the problems, the description of the problems that will be handled, as we will be seeing later. So above the grids of cells that we have here, the groups of cells that forms the actual workbook, we have above it, we have what is called the name box. The name box displays the address of the active cell. For example, the cell that is active now is cell B7, is in column B and row 7. So the name box is displaying that. Any information that we key into the cell will be displayed in what we call the formula bar. The formula bar is towards the right of the name box. For example, I have some data in cell E13, E14, and E15. So if I make cell E13 active, the information or the data that is in E14 is what is displayed on the formula bar. So the formula bar displays the data or the description of the problem in the active cell. We also have at the middle of the name box and the formula bar, we have what is called the insert function. We will be looking at that subsequently in our subsequent lectures. Now below the worksheet, this is the worksheet, we have what is called the worksheet tab. Now this tab is showing that we are in sheet 1, worksheet 1. Then beside it, we have a button that we can use to insert new sheets, as many new worksheets that we require. So we can add them. So as I've added one, it's showing me that sheet 2 is what is active. I can add as many sheets as I want, and I can make any of the sheet active by just clicking the right tab. For example, if I want to make sheet 1 now active, I'll go here and click on that tab to make it active again. So the collection of these sheets that we have added is what we call the workbook. The workbook is going to be saved as a single file and stored also as a single file. Second to the last row, where we have the worksheet tab, or where we have our workbook, the workbook or the worksheet that we have added, we also have what we call the horizontal scroll bar. The horizontal scroll bar. This is the horizontal scroll bar. And towards the right of the screen, here we have the vertical scroll bar. The vertical scroll bar. The vertical scroll bar and the horizontal scroll bar is used to move rapidly. It's used to move rapidly across the worksheet. It's used to move rapidly across the worksheet, as you are seeing. And also the vertical scroll bar can also be used to move rapidly across the worksheet. It is particularly important when we have a worksheet that extends beyond the screen, and we need to view what is beyond the screen. So we can use the vertical scroll bar to move rapidly across the screen. We just need to direct the scroll bar towards the direction that we want to see or what we want to view. We just have to move it towards the right direction so that we can get the right view that we so desire. Now below the scroll bar or below the worksheet tab, we have what we call the status bar, which is at the bottom line of the screen. What we have there in the status bar is to give us information about the current state of the worksheets that we are working on. For example, it's displaying ready. Then it can also give us some information about the data set that we have on it. For example, I keyed in some numbers in cell E13, E14, and E15. So if I select this data at the status bar, it has shown me the average of the numbers. It has shown me the number of data that I selected, the minimum of the value, the maximum, and the sum. I can also configure what is displayed to me on the status bar by right-clicking on this status bar, and from here I can configure what I want the status bar to display. For example, sum is checked, maximum is checked, minimum is checked, count is checked, average is checked, and that is why we have them displayed here. If we don't want them displayed, then we can uncheck them. And if there is any other thing that we want to be displayed or adjusted, it could be done here by right-clicking the status bar to customize that. Also, towards the right of the status bar, we have the page layout buttons. The page layout buttons. When we select the page layout buttons, we can use it to change how we view the Excel window. For example, the normal page layout is active, so that is why we have it viewed like this. If we click on the next one, we have another kind of view that displays the Excel sheet page by page. Then we also have another one that is called the page break view. So the page break view is just only going to show the data set that is selected and nothing more. So through the page layout buttons, we can choose how we want to view the Excel worksheet. So now let's go back to the normal view so that we can have the view that we had before. So to the right of the page view button, we have what is called the zoom control. This is the zoom control. So we can use this to zoom in and zoom out to adjust the size of the Excel sheet, the way we view it. We can either increase the size or reduce the size by using the zoom control. So let's get it back to 100%, which was what we had before. So like I said, on the topmost line of the Excel window that we have, we can change the size by clicking this. This minimizes this, and this changes the size of the window. And this X at the extreme right can be used to close the Excel window, the active Excel window. But before we close the Excel window, we might want to save the work that we have done so far. And how do we do that? We can simply go to File and click it. When we click File, then we can save as. When we click Save As, we can choose the directory where we want to save it. For example, we want it to be saved on the desktop. We select the location, then we give the file a name that we can track later to be able to retrieve our work. So we can do that. And subsequently, if we have saved as, then any subsequent thing that we do, we can just simply click on Save, since we have named the file already. So having saved our file, if you have saved the file, then we can then close the active worksheet by either clicking this cross sign here, or also on the file. When we click on File, then we locate Close. We choose Close. So when we click on Close, since we have not saved, I'm not saving this particular file, so it's still going to ask me if I want to save my changes. So in this kind of case, I don't want to save it. But if you are working on your own and you need to save, just follow the explanation that I've given. Give it a name that you desire and put it in the directory where you can easily retrieve it. But for in this case, I won't be saving, so I will say don't save, and then it closes. It closes. So that will be the end of our lecture for today. Next class, we'll be treating other new and exciting things that I hope will be interesting to you. Thank you for watching.